Thanks for joining us. I'm Don Nelson with your 6 on your side headlines. An autism diagnosis isn't always a simple one or caught at a certain age, but these diagnoses are increasingly nationally. The CDC reports there's an estimated 15% increase in the diagnosis. It's roughly 1 in 59 children now versus 1 in 68 2 years ago. The question of why is one that can't be easily explained, but more and more people are wondering if technology has something to do with it, dubbing the term virtual autism, as some symptoms of too much screen exposure mimic those associated with autism. The autistic community around the valley says trying to understand and improve relationships after a diagnosis is a better solution than trying to fix it.
And if we can reduce these problems and make it easier for us to connect with people, to get jobs, to be part of the community, and that sort of thing, even if there were people who were developing similar symptoms by spending too much time on screens, that would help them as well.
According to Autism Speaks, the increase reflects better diagnosis and is more than likely an undercount, as estimates vary between different sites. The director of Idaho's Division of Veteran Services is asking state lawmakers for more money to hire nurses. Marv Hagedorn says his agency's inability to pay competitive wages says that some beds for veterans are going empty due to a lack of medical staffers. The VA is required to keep a minimum staff-to-patient ratio, so it cannot currently serve more veterans, even though it has the room. Most of the money for the VA comes from the feds. Governor Little has earmarked just over $78 million for the division for next year. Hagedorn is asking for about $1 million more. Inside the State House, Idaho lawmakers have advanced legislation aimed at preventing the abuse and neglect of vulnerable adults. The bill, brought by the Idaho Commission on Aging, would put in place a protective services model and gives folks flexibility in choosing a provider. It would do so by broadening the definition of a provider, potentially allowing folks to avoid institutionalism and remain in their homes and communities. The bill passed the Health and Welfare Committee today. Also at the State House, a newly proposed rule would clamp down on who can take pictures and videos in Idaho state parks. Pictures taken for personal use would still be okay, but anyone taking pictures or video to sell or to generate money would have to get a permit first. The Idaho Department of Parks and Recreation says the change is needed to update rules put in place before smartphones and social media. The Parks and Rec Department will hold a public meeting Wednesday night to discuss the relocation of the archery range that was at the Military Reserve. The archery range needs to be relocated because construction has started on a new 7-acre bike skills park that will replace the current off-leash dog area. The new dog park will take place at the old archery range at the Military Reserve, and they are looking to get a makeover.
So we feel like we finally have, moved the musical chairs of moving the dog off leash to a dog park, build the bike skills park, and then we think we may have found a suitable location for the archery range as well. In the meantime, we have created a temporary dog off leash area at Fort Boise Park.
Possible locations for the new range include 2 different spots in the Military Reserve area, Veterans Memorial Park, and an undeveloped area in southwest Boise. The public meeting will happen at 6 p.m. on Wednesday at the Boise High School Library. A status update on the implementation of the e-scooters that launched in downtown Boise last fall. The city of Boise held a meeting this afternoon to discuss how the scooters have served the city since the rollout. And now the city confirms a third company will soon be rolling through the streets. Spin, based out of San Francisco, could be here as soon as February, bringing the total number of e-scooters in downtown Boise to nearly 750. City Council is also considering a proposal to allow double that number of scooters in the city as other companies line up.